David Muir is widely respected as the public face of ABC News. Nothing like this has ever happened to him before. What devastating news has left his admirers bewildered and anxious about his future? Witness the shocking twist in the life of a nationally renowned and revered writer as we uncover the truth behind the headlines. Rumor has it that the ABC News reporter is planning to leave the station soon. David Muir's departure from ABC News after over 20 years has given rise to this belief among many. In 2014, after taking over for Diane Sawyer, the renowned journalist and Emmy winner Muir began hosting ABC World News Tonight. Renowned for his meticulous reporting, Muir has covered major global events such as the Fukushima nuclear disaster, as well as conflict zones like Afghanistan and Ukraine. The speculation that David Muir was planning to leave ABC began with a YouTube video that discussed his future with the network. However, the movie's description suggests that artificial intelligence was used for portions of the production, and there was significant digital editing done to the audio and video, which cast doubt on its reliability. Even Muir's Instagram and X followers have noted that he hasn't mentioned leaving. The plan has been realized. This might be due to the fact that in early August 2024, Whit Johnson and Lindsay Davis, who were present on Weekend, took Muir's place on World News Tonight. In contrast, Muir was only enjoying his summer vacation. On social media, he posted fragments of his travels, including photos from Italy. Another reason people thought Harris Faulkner was leaving Fox News was because she was absent from a few broadcasts. However, nothing ever came to pass as factual. David Muir's stellar reputation at ABC is a direct result of his dedication to his job as a reporter. However, today we will reveal details about his life that you might not have known before. In 1976, a young Boston reporter achieved legendary status at the height of the popularity of nightly news programs. One of the most recognizable faces on American television, Barbara Walters, was the first woman to host a nightly news program when the three networks were the primary sources of news for the majority of Americans. Simultaneously, other networks began employing future famous newscasters such as Walter Cronkite, Dan Rather, Tom Brokaw, and others. As the new lead anchor of ABC's World News Tonight in 2014, David Muir aimed to accomplish all of the things on this list. He was incredibly reliable. A large number of people, not only the elderly who continue to watch nightly, find him appealing, and in 2020, the Associated Press named Muir Broadcast Television Star of the Summer. A large demographic of viewers ranging in age from 25 to 54 watches The Muir Show, according to the Washington Post. Instagram alone racked up over 500,000 views for segments including interviews with Bill and Melinda Gates, according to Muir's interview with the New York Times. This is without a doubt my dream job. It's clear that his desire has come true. At the age of 12, David Muir began the steps that would eventually lead him to a career in journalism. In my youth, Muir remarked, I remember watching the news and hoping that one day I would be lucky enough to have a job that would take me to faraway places. He was a big fan of Ron Curtis's Syracuse nightly newscast. According to the New York Times, Muir wrote to Curtis and inquired about the steps necessary to launch a television newscasting firm. In response, Curtis said that TV news is quite competitive. Eventually, the correct individual will step in. You could be the one. After that, Muir sought employment by contacting his television station, WTVH. During his time off for the holidays, he worked as an intern. The employees drew a picture of his development on the office wall using pencils throughout the summer. After finishing high school, Muir continued to conduct interviews. Braces and a new Kids on the Block hairstyle are reportedly visible in interviews Muir gave when he was this young. Despite her incredibly polished and entertaining demeanor, Muir commanded the screen with a silly voice. A longtime friend of Muir's, Heather Richpukta, remarked that the New York City location was always a given, proclaiming, I'm going to be the next Dan, rather he was certain of it. It may come as a surprise, but David Muir speaks fluent Spanish. He eagerly took advantage of the opportunity to study in Spain at the University of Salamanca, where he became fluent in Spanish and lived like a local. This cultural immersion prepared me as a young aspiring journalist for a career in which I would traverse the world in search of stories. In addition to taking a vacation from school, Muir told the group that studying abroad would allow her to attempt something new by immersing herself in a new language and experiencing a tiny piece of the world that she had never imagined she would call home for a while. Because of its age and scenic beauty, the university had a special allure for him. Spanish was another language I was fluent in, having studied it continuously since high school. After working as an intern for Syracuse's WTVH-TV, David Muir was hired as a reporter full-time. The experience taught Muir a lesson that would shape his life. In an interview with the Washington Post, Muir revealed that he had some guidance from more seasoned writers while he was stuck on a story. If what Muir says is true, the top worker reportedly told him, well, to get the story, you just have to go out and get it. The suggestion to leave the office, hop in the vehicle, and head to the story was, however, something that Muir did believe was useful. During his time as a reporter in Syracuse, Muir was honored by the Associated Press for his outstanding work in both newspaper and television reporting. After that, Muir landed a position in Boston as a news reporter for WCVB-TV. His work was once again praised by the Associated Press. According to Muir, he was irrevocably affected by his experience reporting on Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans. While riding in a rental car, he overheard some destitute people yelling for aid, and he described the experience in an interview. I remember wanting to slouch down in the back seat because it felt like I was invading their pain, said Muir. Regardless of the difficulty or intensity of the agony you perceive, the camera lens via the window will allow them to express themselves. The 2014 appointment as host of BC's World News Tonight was the career-defining moment for David Muir. The illustrious writer Diane Sawyer had been his boss before him, so he had great shoes to fill. Prior to that, he co-hosted BC World News with David Muir on weekends from 2011 to 2013. During that time, he had the privilege of saying in an interview, "I often say that my job is to keep Diane's chair warm 2 days a week." According to BC News chief James Goldstone, Muir stepped down from his position after a while. In an interview, Goldstone said that Diane's stated readiness to stand down was not truly voluntary. Muir, who was just 40 years old, climbed into the chair after hearing from his employer that he was ready. He reasoned that the large audience must have been attracted by Muir. He possesses a natural optimism and a great deal of understanding, according to Goldstone. America Strong, the final series by Muir, is one such example. Throughout the part, Muir encounters and occasionally revisits courageous individuals that inspire positivity. David Muir has been much admired for his incredible tenure at ABC News. However, not even David himself could predict the future. Something weird and terrifying was it. It appeared like David Muir was enjoying himself before he presided over the presidential debate this year. However, tragic and surprising news broke not long after the incident. The audience for his show had plummeted by a staggering 12%. Everyone was taken aback by the sudden decline and curious about the reason behind it. It would appear that David Muir's tenure as moderator of the presidential debate was fruitless. Actually, it appears that the figures were destroyed by his performance, which was heavily criticized. Muir and co-moderator Lindsay Davis verified facts 5 times for former President Trump, but Vice President Kamala Harris went uncorrected, according to many conservatives who felt the debate was unfair. One of the fact checks on Trump was Susan B. Anthony Pro-Life America, who demanded that Davis be corrected for an abortion allegation she made during the discussion, which they deemed completely untrue. The debate on ABC News drew around 67 million viewers, but the network has subsequently seen nothing but problems. Megyn brought up the issue that the negative remarks surrounding that discussion had put ABC News in a state of complete chaos. Morally upright people are aware of their actions and the bias and injustice they caused. Aside from the alarming accusations of journalistic wrongdoing made by a so-called whistleblower, viewers appear to be expressing their frustration with their remote controls. Muir's World News Tonight was viewed by 6.7% of the population. His viewership dropped by around 1 million viewers in the 3 days following the talk, reaching 7 million. Although it fell by more than both CBS Nightly News and NBC Nightly News did in the same time frame, the show is still the most watched nightly news program on broadcast television. Though the former president has criticized it as unfair, it is unclear whether viewers who support Trump have ceased tuning in to BC's news program following the discussion. Trump stated on Fox News that he believed Harris should have had her remarks investigated. Plus, David Muir, whom I no longer hold in high esteem, should have probed them individually. Last week, Trump said that he is no longer respected by anyone. He continued by saying it was so unfair. A single player faced up against a trio. After the debate, Davis gave an interview in which she explained that her fact-checking procedures for Trump were influenced by the June CNN debate, in which Biden fared poorly. Perhaps realizing the reaction wouldn't go away very soon, Muir appeared on another ABC show to discuss the subject. He and his co-host Lindsay Davis discussed the significance of their work with Reaper and Consuelos on Live with Kelly and Mark. Both of them know him as a buddy. Muir pointed out, I think it is our duty to ask about the things that America cares about. Okay, let's discuss finances. Does the current state of affairs surpass that of 4 years ago? Accessing it. When it comes to the border, what are your plans? Your prolonged inaction at the border begs the question, why? That kind of question arises frequently. Reproduction rights. Afghanistan. Is there anything you must do? Effortless handover of authority before the subsequent election. It is crucial to pay attention to all of these aspects. Modern significance. The final verdict, in Muir's opinion, was meaningless. What I intend to convey is this. Everyone is arguing about who was right after the fact. The moderators were victorious, weren't they? It is merely background noise. Not only that, but he added, you all know that, keep in mind that you are all powerful. The writer thought it amusing that Muir took his message and tone so seriously. He was merely being cautious, she joked. It was exactly what I stated. It was a landslide in aisle 7, as he lost 12% of the vote after the talk. He is plummeting rapidly, as ABC News can observe. According to Rubin, host of the Rubin Report, both Muir and the network came out looking bad in the interview. One of the best ways to see how simple, according to him, they can remove the falsehoods. What transpired at the discussion is common knowledge. Since they have established that he is ultimately to blame, what can they do? I believe he was then placed in the entertainment department and placed on an ABC morning show to further disseminate false information. David Muir is a responsible and sensitive person, therefore these comments and replies hurt him deeply. The emotional toll of breaking bad news to others is too much for him. Take the case of David Muir, who recounted a horrific school massacre in Texas while nearly crying. ABC News was among the first to cover the horrific incident, with David Muir contributing to the coverage. Many viewers of Good Morning America took to Instagram to express their condolences and share the news clip regarding the tragic event. Additional unfortunate news on yet another school town and individuals who failed to prevent this from happening surfaced today. And nobody is doing anything about it, someone wrote. Another person expressed their deep sadness, saying, "This is so heartbreaking, 1/3 of the people polled thought it will end shortly." In that tragic incident, a lone shooter murdered 19 children and 2 adults. Robb Elementary School in Uvalde was targeted by the gunman, who was 18 years old, and opened fire on the students, whose ages ranged from 7 to 10, the alleged gun-wielding adolescent. Among the firearms seized by investigators are high-capacity magazines and an AR-15 semi-automatic rifle. Following his assault, police opened fire, killing him. Many well-known figures condemned the senseless crime after the incident. David Muir's fans rallied around him when he was away from the ABC offices doing a tough job. This was just one more heartwarming instance of his compassionate nature. The journalist from 2020 covered the devastating earthquake in Turkey and Syria in 2023, displaying his dedication and cognizance of global catastrophes. February 6, 2023, was the date of a 7.8 magnitude earthquake that struck Syria and Turkey. Thousands of people were killed and hundreds of structures were damaged. David announced his departure for one of the numerous areas devastated by the tragedy on Instagram over the weekend. There were many rescue workers manning the wreckage when he uploaded a photo of himself with a dejected expression, surrounded by debris and garbage. His caption read, "Few words truly describe the scope of this." He pleaded with his followers and friends to provide a hand to those affected by the earthquake. Upon learning about the unfortunate incident, David's friends and co-workers immediately applauded him for keeping them informed. One admirer wrote, "David, your reporting is always perfect, true, and kind." Deborah Roberts, another ABC anchor, commended him, saying, Thanks for shining a compassionate and informative light on this tragedy, David. Your coverage of this humanitarian crisis has shown the terrible and heartbreaking damage these people are going through over the course of his stellar career. David Muir has an incredible capacity to persevere through adversity. This talent has inspired and will continue to inspire many individuals all across the globe. Both his talent and his tenacity in the face of adversity are on full display in his meteoric climb from a small-town news reporter to one of America's most trusted authors. Being resilient entails more than simply picking oneself up after falling down. Muir's story teaches us that. However, it is also about pushing through difficulties and succeeding when things get tough. Growing up in Syracuse, New York, Muir overcame numerous obstacles that tested his mettle. Uncommon emotions that few people are able to overcome, he had to cope with uncertainty and self-doubt from an early age. When things got tough, he didn't give up, rather, he used those challenges as learning experiences that helped him succeed. Even though he had set a lofty goal of becoming a news anchor when he was younger, he persisted still. He clung tenaciously to his objective and labored tirelessly to achieve it, viewing each obstacle as an opportunity to gain wisdom that strengthened his resolve. Despite his dogged persistence, Muir encountered numerous obstacles at the outset of his endeavor. He put in long hours at night, frequently forgoing sleep and leisure time, to satisfy the demands of his employment. In spite of his exhaustion, he persisted in his task, certain that his efforts would be rewarded in due course. Many would-be reporters would have been scared off by Muir's daring to cover difficult topics in perilous locations. Not only did each occurrence inspire him to pen other tales, while also emphasizing the significance of integrity and courage on the job. Additionally, he faced stiff competition in the broadcasting industry from other seasoned reporters seeking the same prestigious positions. Muir persevered through the challenges of trying to stand out among such brilliant peers. On the contrary, he viewed setbacks as opportunities to grow and improve, living through the challenges life threw to him. Perseverance, devotion, and an unfaltering attitude were the keys to success in the quest of greatness, and each obstacle he encountered only served to strengthen his will to succeed. The seasoned newscaster excels in areas beyond his profession. Despite his busy schedule, he is renowned for maintaining strong ties with those closest to him. No matter the occasion, a casual phone call, a family gathering, or a major event, his loved ones say he is always there for them. This demonstrates that he places equal importance on his relationships with people and his job. His success in striking a good balance between his personal and professional life serves as an example to us all and proves that it is possible to do the same. Regarding the importance of health and happiness. For what it's worth, David Muir's narrative serves as a powerful reminder that vulnerability and strength are frequently interdependent. He still intends to deliver the news in a clear and compassionate manner. By standing by its lead anchor and respecting his right to privacy, ABC has maintained the high standards of journalism that he helped establish.